TV for another RSR Next Generation Cup Series race. This time, coming at you for the season finale live at the simulated Phoenix Raceway, where these guys are going to tackle 150 laps around this 1 mile facility. And a little bit cooler in the desert, 94 on the track, 78 in the skies as far as temperature goes. So it's a really odd, cool day here at Phoenix. 56% humidity, partly cloudy, no winds. So nothing to worry about on that end. And of course, my name is Jeremy Stanley, aka Jay Swifty. And to my right hand side, Jason Rockefeller. How are you doing this evening, man?
I'm doing good, man. Ready to see who's going to win this championship here tonight from the Phoenix Raceway in the Arizona desert. Going to be interesting. This race can go usually one of two ways, Jeremy, we've seen, obviously. This race can either be a complete wreck fest early in the race. It could come up to a crapshoot towards the end, or it could just be a long, strung-out green flag run that we're used to seeing both on the Xfinity side, not so much the Truck Series side this past year, let me tell you that, and obviously the Cup Series side as well. So looking forward to it. We're about to see who's going to win the championship out of these four drivers.
I hope to the sim racing gods we do not see a truck series race like we did a couple weeks ago here on that Friday night. Everyone wants to forget that evening, and we're coming at you live a little bit late. They are already on the grid here, as you see on your screen at this time. A little bit late start there, but we're still here to bring you all the coverage for all 150 laps. Blake Howell looks like he has taken pole, and so Dustin has his camera down there, track side, to go down the starting order here for the 213 SimWear 150. Blake Howell is going to be P1, Richie Coy second place, Harold Watkins starts in third, Brian Fine fourth, Ryan Bean fifth, Brock Potter sixth, seventh place Nolan Potter, eighth Andrew Little, ninth Bob Fitzpatrick, and 10th place Kevin Ruff.
And then all the way down to 22nd, you have Alexander Hodge, P11, Steve Potter, and the number 94 and 12. 13th and 14th goes to Michael Sheffield, Anthony Ludi. 15th and 16th, Jerry Culver and Justin Henry. 17th and 18th, Harold Rothery and Anthony Yuns. 19th and 20th, Rusty Modesty and Matt Hayden in the number 5 machine. And then rounding out your last row in 21st and 22nd, Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. in the 48 and Michael Carter in the number 24 Exalta Chevy Camaro.
If you guys tuned in last week, you would have heard Nate Campbell said he was not going to make the season finale, and he is second place in points. He has given that position up to the number 23 of Harold Watkins. So your top four, your championship four contenders here for tonight's 213 SimWear 150 is going to be Ryan Bean, Blake Howell, Brock Potter, Harold Watkins. Those four guys, keep your eye on them because they are in the championship hunt for this season finale.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, kind of a really big heartbreaker that Nate Campbell isn't going to be here, because it's really been, honestly, Jeremy, all the Ryan Bean and, Campbell show all year long. And now that Ryan Bean doesn't have to worry about his fellow competitor and teammate being in these playoffs, for this Final Four, he's got to worry about a different set of three drivers. Blake Howell, Brock Potter, Harold Watkins, who got the nod to be in this Final Four. I think if there's anybody here, Jeremy, out of these four drivers, based on skill and from what we've seen all season, I think that Blake Howell is going to be the one who could probably give Ryan Bean a run for his money for this championship. But Harold Watkins, fastest out of those four drivers, or rather the second fastest, he might have a chance to try to do something as well. But we're coming to the green flag. We're going to crown ourselves a champion here at the end of this one.
That's right. We're just going to go through turn 3 and 4 here, and we're going to see the green flag for the final time of 2023 to start a race. And here we are. Race is officially underway. Number 26, Blake Howell, gets a decent start, but look at Ryan Bean shooting to the bottom. Instantly goes 3 wide, really spread out here on the front straightaway. Very common to Phoenix. But Ryan Bean able to gain a couple spots there. Going to go 3 wide through 1 and 2. 26, Howell's going to pinch Ryan Bean there just a touch. Oh, and there's already a spin in the back, and it's going to bring up the first caution presented by Roasted Jim's Coffee.
Oh, no, and it's Nolan Potter, and I believe Alexander Hodge. I saw somebody get a tap there, and it was the number 94 of Nolan, or the 34, rather, of Nolan Potter, I believe it was. And you're just going to see him just go right around off the front bumper there of Bob Fitzpatrick Jr., right off turn number 2, Jeremy. And this is not an uncommon thing to happen here at Phoenix Raceway. We already saw them filing out all the way into turn 1. Let's take a look and see here if we could take a look from the initial start all the way up to the contact and see just how spread out and fanned out that these guys get from the start. You're going to see them right here as we're VHS rewinding it back all the way to the start-finish line through the Geico restart zone. Look at all these drivers. They're going to be 3 and 4 wide all throughout the dog leg. You could just see them. They're 4 wide basically right there. Once the 28 of Ryan Beeden gets under them, they're almost 4 wide. This 34 tries to come down and unfortunately just comes down a little too late. Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. already trying to get back to the gas. And obviously the 11 of Alexander Hodge just nowhere to go.
Yeah, there's just so much going on in these restarts here at Phoenix. You try to put your car in a position and you're looking high, you're looking low, you don't know exactly what's going on because there's just 3 and 4 wide. And so you get to the corner, you try to apex on the top, you try shooting down to straighten up your exit, and what do you know, the number 3 car is sitting right there on the inside of your quarter panel, and you turn yourself around. But thankfully, very little contact was made from the 34's car, so I think you'll be just fine. Had to go into pit road, change those virtual Goodyear tires, and we're going to get this thing reset up. Now, Ryan Bean was kind of, he was 4th or 5th place, and that excellent restart put him in P2. Now he's got to start on the outside. So the restart advantage is against the 28. Do we see another move like that? Now we know that that can be possible from either someone like Harold Watkins, Brian Fine, or Bob Fitzpatrick there, and just in around the top 5 area.
Yeah, I think possibly that we could probably see some kind of obviously move again like that at the restart. It's very common here, that these guys get fanned out, obviously. So, we're going to have to see how they end up doing. And for the first caution of the night here, Jeremy, on lap number 1, I would not be surprised if this happens on a later restart in this race at all, by any means necessary.
Yeah, 100% here. And these guys are double filed up. We got 1 lap to go before we're going to go back to green flag action, resuming this race on lap 5. So we're going to see exactly what we saw that first lap, which everyone's going to really fan out and try to get where they need to be before the long run sets in here. And we're going to go half a lap left, Jason, and we're going to see that green flag fly once more.
And obviously championship contenders, being Ryan Bean, Blake Howell, Brock Potter, Harold Watkins. This is a long race for them. They're going to need a good race. You have to be consistent. We saw this 28 jump out to the front. We're going to see if he can do it again.
26 with an excellent restart. One of your championship contenders here. Really spaced out, the guys this time around. Not so scattered on the front straightaway heading off to turn number 1. 26-28. They got their own 2-car length advantage over the 3rd row, which is going to be provided to you by the 19 of Richie Coy here. And on the outside, other championship contender, 23, Harold Watkins, entering turn 3 and 4. Brian Fine is all over there. Had to check up a little bit there on corner entry. He's going to give up corner exit as they go back to single file across the line.
Everybody going to be really clean here across the line for the first real green flag run of the night. And back down. Oh, we got another one again going around. This time, it's a couple guys. The 5 of Matt Hayden, the 94 Steve Potter, and I believe the 34 almost was involved of Nolan Potter again. Saw some smoke out of the front tires of him. We're going to take a look and see. Oh, and you know something, Jeremy? I remember our first race together on the call here for Nerd TV together came at Phoenix for the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series back a few months ago at the beginning of the season, basically. And I remember that this was a common problem here. These guys would try to either go down to the transition from the banking to the flat or just try to fly around that dogleg. And we saw a lot of guys get loose going through there. And it just came to my mind now from watching that 94 machine go around like that.
Yeah, that's actually a good call there on the memory side. And you can see both instances of that wreck. You saw the 94 obviously get loose up on the sharp part on the upper half of the track. But the 34, Nolan Potter, who had was part of that first wreck on lap 1, he actually did the opposite. He went down to the flat. As soon as he came back onto the actual racing surface, that car also kicked sideways. He did a great job saving the number 34 Toyota Camry, but he just hit that transition. The next gen cars had that stiff suspension, and just kicked him around just like that. Had no no reason to think he was going to have that situation until it happened. But good job by the 34 to keep it straight.
Yeah, definitely good job for sure. And it would not surprise me, Jeremy, to say at all that we could possibly see more drivers do that here later on in this race. It's not an uncommon thing to happen. Again, talked about it from the memory side of things. Back in the back of my mind, and that little memory bank I have that's filled with pennies, I remember obviously those guys going around back when we saw the Mach 1 guys race here at the beginning of 2023, and that was a common problem for them. Obviously, those guys open setups, probably a little bit more fidgety, a little bit more, kind of susceptible to those incidents. But something like this here tonight with a fixed setup, kind of odd, but I would not be surprised if we see it again.
Yeah, at least your pennies are nice and shiny and easy to remember. Mine, I have to sweep off the dust off the top of them before I can find them. But so I'm glad that you're with me, you know, to fact check myself, and also our producer Dustin Loxton. Which, by the way, shout out to that guy bringing all the camera action once more for you guys for the season finale of the 2023 season for RSR. And for just general league racing for the Nerd TV crew alone. We got a couple events I think coming up here later on in the year, so stay tuned to the Nerd TV YouTube and Facebook for that. Something quite big is brewing, so we'll get a shout out momentarily on our socials. But we got 2 laps or a lap and a half left, Jason, here before going back to green. Ryan Bean, 5th to 1st. It took 2 restarts. And man, this guy is on a mission to get this championship trophy. I know Nate Campbell, his teammate, had his number the past few weeks. He was probably my pick tonight. If he was going to make the race, that would have been the 45. Since he's not here, it's a tough one. Blake Howell is going to do everything he can, but right now, just how the restarts are working for the 28 alone, this guy, I think, is going to be my pick tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty easy pick. I mean, it's like if you came into Phoenix, obviously, back for the Cup Series just a little over a week ago. Obviously, the favorite going into it was Kyle Larson because he was the first one to not only lock himself into that championship four, but you look back at his Phoenix track record, won the 2021 Cup Series championship, Virtue winning at Phoenix. We've seen him be strong. He was strong in the springtime. Late race caution, lost some spots on pit road. And then obviously William Byron went to win his second win of the season, and then obviously many others later on in that season. So don't count out somebody that could possibly spoil the party for Ryan Bean. We talk about Blake Howell being probably his second biggest competition all season. Harold Watkins was right there up in the top 4 in qualifying. We might be able to see something with him. And I think if there's one guy out of these 4 who's definitely the underdog, it's Brock Potter, and he's right there in 7th. But we're going to have a long ways to go before we crown ourselves an RSR Next Gen champion this year.
Yeah, 100% here. We're about to get the green flag to resume on lap 11, and here we go. Ryan Bean taking exactly what the number 26, Blake Howell, did on these restarts and gets that early inside cut. Going to separate about 3 or 4 car lengths. They go 2-3 wide, back to 2 before they get to turns 1 and 2 here. And it looks like it's a lot more formal set of corners here for the top 10 and throughout the rest of the field. To get to the back stretch here, you see just a lot of 2 wide that kind of sifts through back to single file. Get to turns 3 and 4. The 57 Brian Fine looks to have a really good car on the bottom of the track. He just needs some laps on the green flag counter. They cut through the dog leg once more. And oh, there's another wreck in the back just at the dog leg, and it's going to potentially bring out a caution. I don't see one yet.
No caution so far, and it's because the 6 machine is below the racing surface. And I know what these folks are probably thinking watching this race. What, if you're a regular viewer at Phoenix, oh, how is that not a caution? He's on the racing surface. Well, it's because iRacing deems that below that yellow line as oh my goodness, what a hit to the number 6 Sinclair Dynacare Ford Mustang of Rusty Modesty. And then Michael Sheffield, one of those other guys involved, saw him. The same thing, Jeremy, just gets loose going through the dog leg. And this happened back in the Mach 1 Cup Series earlier this year. Again, we're seeing it here tonight. But due to these guys wrecking, keeping it straight, and obviously being below that racing surface, that's why we didn't have a yellow, even though obviously this track, every part of this track here tonight is probably raceable surface on a restart.
That's pretty crazy. These guys have these setups really loose. They know this car is going to tighten up on the long run. So you're seeing it just going through the simple dog leg there. Doesn't matter if you're low or high. These cars are getting loose about center to exit on that part of the track. So That should subside a little bit as we get about 5 to 10 laps of green flag racing on these virtual Goodyears. And as you see, we've really kind of gone single file. There's a lot of cars that are really spaced out already early on in this run. And that's probably due to the fact they've noticed a lot of other guys are getting loose on the track. And so they're just playing a little bit of cautious game and to round out stage one here.
Yeah, we're already seeing a lot of guys obviously really take it easy so far. I mean, you just have to. You just can't be super aggressive this early on to this race. I mean, if you're super aggressive early on, you're going to burn up your stuff. We're used to this racetrack being a long run type of race. But with that being said, we'll see who has the better tires, who has the better long run. We see Ryan Bean already out to nearly a second now, over a second gap, and it looks like he definitely has the short run speed here tonight.
I do see the YouTube and Facebook chats. I see Gabe Lincoln saying number 4 Howell with a bunch of trophies next to it. So obviously rooting for Mr. Howell. And then Blake Howell also getting the cheer on from Sheila Geary, who's on every single Tuesday night. And jumping to the Facebook side, Michelle Rittenberry saying, let's go, Kevin Lee Ruff. And also a weekly cheerleader for that number 99 car. So glad to see the fan bases out there cheering on their final driver for the final time of 2023. But we got some racing up here in the top 3 or 4, the 23 and the 57 side by side through 1 and 2.
Yeah, they're going side by side here down into 1 and 2. You see Brian Fine trying to make his way around Harold Watkins. And Jeremy, the big thing that we really don't talk about as much that we kind of saw more in the Cup Series race almost a couple weeks ago was non-playoff championship contenders racing against the guys who were able to go for a championship. Obviously, we've talked about Ross Chastain winning the race, breaking that streak from 2014 on of the guy winning the final race of the season, being able to win that championship. If you're a guy like Brian Fine, you want to race that 23 machine hard, but you have to learn when to give and take and know that he has an opportunity to win a championship here tonight, and you do not.
It's kind of weird, too. I think I mentioned in the previous broadcast, at least the past couple, that it's always weird that the final 4 championship contenders always find themselves 1, 2, 3, 4 in the race. But that's not been the case. Truck Race Xfinity and the Cup, it was just kind of spaced out there. And it's kind of cool to see Ross Chastain do break that little streak there of having the championship winner also win the race. TV did not provide Ross Chastain an adequate time. It took over 15 minutes before they even got him on camera, but there was a bigger championship worry, the view on the screen anyways, for Mr. Ryan Blaney, your driver. But Ryan Bean has broke himself out over a second lead over second place Blake Howell. Richie Coy is continuing to get better and better at this fixed series style stuff with the setups. He's being a strong runner here in the top 3.
Yeah, Ryan Bean obviously trying to continue that Ryan trend here tonight, leading so far, and he has a 2 1/4 gap. Oh, we got another caution out on the racetrack right now, trying to figure out who it is. We're about to find out. This is another yellow, and it's the 54, Anthony Yuns, coming off turn number 2. Just loses it, Jeremy. Simple as that. Back to the gas too early. And, oh, my goodness, destroys the front of that number 54 Red Bull machine. And I tell you what, Jeremy, that 54 right there definitely did not get wings from Red Bull right there.
He almost took off out of the track with that impact. I've never seen such a hard impact here at Phoenix. Just 90-degree angle, bam. Just destroys the wall and the front of his car. And that car is probably out of this race with that impact. That was such a hard impact.
Yeah, that was definitely a hard impact, obviously. And now this gives us the opportunity. Will we see anybody come down pit road? The 28's flirting with it. He will not elect to come down to the pits this time by. The only guys who have pit so far are really, drivers who have been in trouble so far, spinning out, getting in the wall, whatever it may be. And remember, this is a fixed setup. They can't really make that many adjustments to this car. So really what you have is what you have. And we still haven't got that long run yet. You see a couple guys in the back really coming to the pits, but that's really just because they're back there or they've been involved in a wreck, trying to make sure that they can keep up with their damage being repaired. But really, Jeremy, we can't really say for sure yet that there is a dominant car. We've seen Ryan Bean obviously take off here on these restarts, but people have been right there to protect their own lines as well. I just think that this 28 machine is just too strong for anybody to compete with him on these restarts. They're just going to need a long run to see what they have to go at Ryan Bean.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong here. The only thing that they can do is you see the 13, Jerry Culver, going around getting his hashtag Get a Grip Lucky Dog Award presented by Martin Sports here. He's going to put himself 2 laps down, only to 1 lap down as he cycles through this 1-mile track. But I think these guys have the option to edit their brake bias, move it forward, move it backwards. I think that's the only in-car adjustment these guys can make on a fixed setup race. So there's a little bit of that. And of course, if you move the brake to the rear, you get better rotation. If you move it to the front, it makes your car really tight. So you can kind of break the balance of how you're feeling, adjust accordingly if they do have that option in the car. But outside of that, it is 100% up to the driver to make a driver change in what they're doing around this track to get faster or slower.
Yeah, and that's the thing, about Phoenix. This really, and I know we say this about really every track we go to, and I know that people are like, oh, you say the same stuff, this and that, but no, like this is really a driver-driven rhythm track. You have to get into that kind of rhythm because usually you think that Phoenix is going to be a long-run type of race. But right now, we just don't know. We've had so many cautions this early on. We're working on, our third caution of the night? So it's been difficult to really find out, how these guys can get into their rhythm. They know their rhythm when it comes to the restarts so far, but we just don't know for sure yet how they are with their rhythm on these long runs. So they have to prep for that no matter what. You always have to prep to make sure that you know your rhythm for a long run because you never know when you can have one. And who knows, we could see more cautions. And in the second half of this race, we could go all the way to the end from the green flag.
Yeah, you really could see that for sure. I see Marianne Sheffield on the Facebook side saying, come on, Blake Howell. So Blake has 3 cheerleaders out there tonight, cheering him on the Nerd TV side for our broadcast. And we got 1 lap to go. We're going to resume this race on lap 27. Stage break is at 45, so we're just over halfway through stage number 1. And I want to give a quick shout out to our series sponsor before we go green flag racing. That's going to be Best One Tire and Service. So if you're looking for a one-stop automotive repair and tire shop, Best One Tire and Service helps you get the new tires, tire repairs, and auto service you can need from the people you can trust. Check out where their nearest location is to you by visiting bestonetire.com.
I think right here, Jeremy, on this restart, you're probably going to see Blake Howell try to get as close as he can to Ryan Bean on this restart, but we've seen his 28 fire off, but his 26 has almost been right there, but they're going to come into the Geico restart zone. We're about to find out.
Yeah, the lead cars definitely have the advantage right here. Ryan Bean gets a quick 2 to 3 advantage over Richie Coy, who's also made an aggressive start here to pass the number 26 Howell and get into turns 1 and 2. Cannot get the pass completely cleared. Oh, there's a couple cars loose. The 68 Andrew Little is one of them. He saves it, checks up a good chunk of the field. Him and I think the number 7 as well. That would have been Harold Rothery. I don't know if they made contact, Jason. We're going to go back to the VHS rewind here. They simultaneously got loose. I don't know if there was contact here.
Back, the 7 just comes right down. Just unfortunately comes right down into the 68's door. He gets loose. He's going to make an incredible save, and the 68 of Andrew Little gets a little bit sideways, and he says, yeah, man, I'm a World of Outlaws sprint car driver here, and he's a lot sideways right there for sure, and right there off the corner, just great save, but if I had to guess, Jeremy, right there, you saw he hit that pit road commitment line, and I think those left sides were just barely touching that yellow line. We're going to have to see, but right now he looks okay at 68, might get an unsafe pit entry.
Yeah, I'm staying on the track. Probably tells me that he somehow avoided that, but we'll see in the next lap or two if he comes down pit road to service his car, if so. Right now, the leader single file to get about 6th place. You see the number 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick on the outside of the 99 Kevin Ruff, going through 3 and 4 this time to get to lap number 30. That's going to mark 16 laps left in this stage.
Yeah, and these stage, or rather these laps in this stage is going to go by super, super quick. So you have to make sure that you can get into that rhythm, figure out how to pick up track. Because you see the 57 Brian Fine really loose. They're going to put him 3 wide now as the 3 of Fitzpatrick Jr. and also the 4 of Brock Potter nearly having calamity with the 57 Fine Beer Machine out of 2. And that's the thing. It's a short sprint to the end of this stage, so you have to make sure that you know what you got. You have to keep the tires on it. You have to make sure you're not overdriving this car, and obviously pick up as many positions as you can, because track position here is absolutely key. And look at this car right here, the 24 Michael Carter, with all these yellows and all the restarts we've had. Look at this car. This car started at the tail end of the field. He is already up to 10th plus 12th from where he started in that beautiful Jeff Gordon throwback number 24 Exalted machine back from 2009. And boy, oh boy, Jeremy, that car looks really, really good right now.
It looks really good on the next gen car too. They did a really good job. Whoever designed that car for Michael Carter. And yeah, he's moved up 12 spots, doing an excellent job so far through this field. And to touch on your point earlier, you just kind of have to, you're really learning right here in stage one of how exactly the field's spacing out, how people are restarting, and you're going to take all this information, figure out what you're going to do on pit road as far as strategy goes, because you only get 3 sets of tires, and that's having 3 cautions and a couple wrecks that never produced a caution. You kind of have to keep in the back of your head, okay, when do I take my tires, when do I not, if it does continue to be wreck filled up to this point. Typical of Phoenix, it almost seems like recently from everything that I've seen. But yeah, this is a great learning process for these guys, and when they get to stage 2, I imagine this race is going to get a lot more competitive.
Yeah, I can imagine this race is definitely going to get more competitive, but obviously we have to get there. So, going to be a few laps before we find out, and obviously, you know, when these guys do elect to come down to pit road at the end of this stage, that's when you're really going to find out too. You know, who's going to have the better pit stop, and then they really got to saddle up, because again, you don't know when that next caution could come out. You have to race this race like it's going to be a green flag run, but you know, with the amount of cautions we've seen so far, we just don't know. We're only 35 laps in, still a lot of racing to go, and obviously they have to prep for that too.
Yeah, 100% here. We got our camera on second and third place, Richie Coy and Blake Howell. Richie Coy leading Blake Howell in second place right here. Fourth place, the other championship contender, Harold Watkins. And in fifth place, Kevin Ruff. That's your top 5 at the moment, coming to 10 laps to go for stage. And Ryan Bean has lost a 1/10 of a second to Richie that time. He was 0.8, now he's 0.7. So with Richie having clean air on the nose of that 19 Ford Mustang, it looks like he is starting to chip away a little bit at this really fast number 28. Can he be the Ross Chastain for this race?
Yeah, he very well could be. Richie Coy is a very, very talented driver when it comes to these short, flat tracks, obviously. We've seen him be really good. Oh, and here we go. We got another caution on the racetrack right now. One car, believe, has gone around in turn number 2. And yes, it was. The number 94 and the 68 meet right in the middle there. 94 just gets loose, overcorrects it, locks it down. Will they get through? Oh, my goodness. And yes, they did. Holy crap. I cannot believe. I believe that was the number 11 of Alexander Hodge. He was wiggling, shaking, giggling, whatever it may be, and he was able to save that race car coming off turn number 2. Great job by him.
This is the 3rd time the 94 Steve Potter's been involved in some type of incident getting loose, but yeah, look at that. We cut to it a little bit late, but Alexander Hodge in that 11 just absolutely did not know where to go. Car parked right in the middle of the track. We're going to go back one more time and take a look at Alexander Hodge's roof camera going through turns 1 and 2. He sees the spin. He's like, okay, he's going to go. I don't know where to go. We're going to go slow motion. And then he decides there's more space on the left, and that was overall the better call to go low. But man, that could have been a catastrophe if he decided to maybe go up the track or stay in the middle.
Absolutely, no doubt about it right there. And that was just such a great recovery by the number 11 of Alexander Hodge. And really just the other 2 drivers who got right through that. But, unfortunate, obviously, for them to go around like that, bring out the 4th caution of the night. But at least there wasn't any damage and didn't really lead to any kind of catastrophic incidents like we've seen here so far in this race.
Yeah, 100% here. And we're going to shout out one of our partners once more here. Our long-term partners here at Martin Sports for the Nerditudes. A small company with a big-time product, home of the gloves of sim racing. Martin Sports makes the most breathable and durable gloves the sim world has ever seen, but they also specialize in fully customized sublimation printing on everything from team uniforms to shirts and hoodies, allowing for zero restriction on color, which allows for the absolute fastest turnaround in the business. Check out their full apparel and merchandise line at martinsports.gg. and you use that promo code you see in green text above the gloves on the bottom of the screen, that's going to save you a whopping 25%. One of the best discounts you'll find online, period, at checkout. Anything you do purchase at martinsports.gg.
Yeah, I got some of the most breathable gloves in the game. Got my American flag embroidered Martin Sports gloves. Definitely got to check them out for sure. And also, got to check them out, for just all their products too. You need sports jerseys, whatever. Scott Martin, them do a great job over there. And, happy that they're a partner of ours. And, look at Richie Coy right there in that number 19 car, the Advanced Auto Parts car as usual. But he's supporting the Martin Sports, being a Martin Sports driver. He's finally been able to take that lead here, Jeremy, obviously. And it's been really interesting to see him being able to keep up with Ryan Bean. I know Ryan just pitted, but now that this 19 machine is going to have this track position here, he's not going to have to worry about being that second car, third car in line. We're going to see what this 19 has on the restart.
Yeah, let's touch on that 28 for a moment here. Ryan Bean shortcutting the pits. Essentially, he recognizes that tire wear is not too extreme at the moment. So what he's going to do is he's going to come down pit road on this caution because there's only going to be 5 laps to go to stage end on this restart. So he's going to shortcut the pit stop. He's going to take the early downfall right now. He's going to be restarting all the way back in 14th place. But when they get the yellow flag here in 5 laps, the 28 is going to be back to the race lead. So it's an interesting call. He's clearly one of the fastest cars in the field. So if he would have pitted with on lap 45, he would have been just fine. But I feel like he has a different plan for us in store tonight. So it'll be interesting to see that. But here we go back to green flag, little domino bump and runs here through the restart. 19 to 23 and everybody else on back really just nose to tail, bump, bump, bump. But they keep it going straight. A little slow there on the top side of the dog leg. Get through turns 1 and 2 here. The 19-23. They're going to separate 3 or 4 car lengths side by side for 3rd place.
Yeah, down the back straightaway. Oh, a little bit of contact. Brock Potter nearly loses it off turn number 2. He falls back into the clutches now of Kevin Ruff in that best one tire machine off turn number 4. They're going to remain side by side. Remember to be careful, boys, heading through the dog leg. We've seen a lot of drivers spin out coming through here, and especially off 2. Brock Potter, though, not giving an inch to this 99 of Ruff off 2.
Nah, doing everything he can here. Gets it cleared, so the top 7 are going to be, or 6 rather, are going to be single file. Goes back to the 3 and the 24. Michael Carter continuing to drive through this field. Look at him in the 3rd groove and still able to make time on a fixed setup. This is really impressive stuff by Michael Carter. 22nd to 7th in less than 40 laps.
Yeah, he's been doing such a great job here tonight. Don't count out Michael Carter. This car looks really good. I know that we've had a lot of yellows, but I think that this 24 machine can probably get up to this front. He's going to go right in front of the 3. Oh, no! The 4, Brock in front of the field. He is able to save it, though, while he tries to gather it up. Everybody else, though, scatters around him. But the 4 of Brock Potter nearly just had his championship hopes going up in smoke heading into turn number 3.
Yeah, he tried to cut down in front of the 99, who you know he's been racing side by side with there, and there's no room. The 99's nose was there. Brock found it. He got loose off it, and thankfully he was able to save it. Did not hit the wall, just kind of locked up the tires. But, he's going down pit road here momentarily when the stage break ends, and you see the onboard camera from Kevin Ruff. There's the Ford turning down, almost clips that inside wall. That would have been fatal if he would have hit that. He would have shot right up the track, but thankfully he didn't, and he kept it going straight with very minimal, if not no damage at all.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I mean, but hey, that's the thing, though. This 99, he can't give all the room to this number 4 machine. He needs to race his own race like we've seen so far here tonight. And with that being said, the caution is out, obviously. And the 4 machine, you got to make sure that you're being careful. You can't be cutting down like that. You got to race with respect. I know he's being respectful, but it's so early on in this race, and I know this race is going to fly by, but still, track position's key. You don't want to lose that. So we're going to find out what this 4 is going to have in store here for this second stage.
And as they're on stage break here coming down pit road, I think it's our time to go to our first picture-in-picture commercial break. We'll be back shortly for the drop of the green flag at stage 2. And back to full screen here as you see the pace truck dip down to pit road, where these guys are exiting turn 2 now. So we're going to go half a lap, and we're going to go back to green flag to resume this race to start stage 2, which will resume on lap 50. So we're going to have 101 laps from this point to crown our champion for RSR 2023 B series, or session apparently. And next week, I have not heard. Nate Campbell, I think, kind of alluded to it. There was maybe a grand champion race next week. I don't know if that detail has become more of a fruition thing or if it's just still an imaginary thought. But either way, we're green flag racing right now. Pretty eventful restart here, minus the top 2. Everybody else seems to be 2 by 2 by 2 all the way back to about 12th place or so. Going on the back stretch this time. Number 68's found himself in a good spot here, just around the top 5 area. And now we're riding on board with number 26, Blake Howell, as he goes through 3 and 4.
Yeah, and down through 3 and 4 now. Blake Howell trying to work on the bottom right now of Harold Watkins. You see right in front of him, but he's battling with Nolan Potter to his outside. One of those guys who was wrecked about almost 2 times. Howell gives the bumper to Watkins into turn number 2, but as they come off the corner, the 26 little bit loose off the corner as the 23 kind of gets away from him.
And just going through 3 and 4 this time, still on board with number 26 here through 3 and 4. You see they're all cutting down below the dog leg, which we saw in the restarts. On stage 1, your car is probably going to be pretty loose there on the upper half of the track, so it's probably the safe route to cut that corner, get to turn 1 and 2. And now we got a battle here for the race lead, the 28 and the 57 side by side as everyone else is single file behind them.
Yeah, as they go single file, all behind them, you see Brian Fine trying to keep that lead right now from Ryan Bean. Bean will travel up to the outside lane, through the dog leg, down into the corner. Richie Coy, though, right behind them in their tire tracks, trying to look for a way around them as well.
Richie Coy seems to have the fastest car at this point of the race. Had an excellent back half of stage 1 and looking to continue that motion here as they go single file. The number 28, Ryan B, makes the pass happen on the outside here at Phoenix. That tells me this fixed setup is kind of versatile there, Jason, around this track.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, you just see, obviously, all these drivers trying to run different lines right now, though. You see Ryan Bean, he goes from the middle all the way down to the bottom, trying to rotate. You see the 57 traveling upwards towards the wall, trying to cut down. He's going to battle, though, with Richie Coy down this back straightaway. Ryan Bean kind of slides away just a little bit, but through 3 and 4, that bottom just so much more dominant than that top lane. Richie Coy able to clear the 57. Now Kevin Ruff tries to find a spot to get around Brian Fine through the dog leg.
This is going to be the 28 and the 19. This is going to be their race to lose just based off the speeds that we have seen so far through the first 54 laps of this 150-lap event. Going through 1 and 2, really spaced out all the way through the field. You see the number 8 trying to get to, or 26 trying to get to the inside of the 68 here of Andrew Little is going to make that pass happen. As Andrew going to try to hold on, but I think Blake Howell has the speed in that car. But going back to the front here, the 19 all over the back bumper of Ryan Bean, he's going to try to take another stab at this race lead.
Yeah, here comes Richie Coy, the New Jersey native, all over the back bumper of Bean off turn number 2. Coy trying to make sure he can get a run at Bean, but down into 3 and 4, closes the gap to him. Now he's going to try to kind of diamond the corner a little bit, not enough to get back down to the bottom. Ryan Bean still able to hold that. Here comes Coy. He goes for the dive, and he is right there going through the dog leg, entering 1.
I think Ryan Bean assessed the situation and wants Richie just to go by, knowing that car is faster, knowing also right behind him the next 2 cars in line are not for championship there, which you look on your right-hand column, and you see Ryan Bean the 28 in second place. He is in green, and the 3 other drivers as well are listed in green, so it's going to be 2nd, 5th, 6th, and 7th. A little bit of breathing room there for Ryan Bean, so he can give up that race lead and not have to worry about his championship hopes so far.
Yeah, for sure, obviously. And I mean, you know, this is the thing. There's a lot of guys in here who are really fast that aren't in this championship for, so they have to make it to the end of this race. Obviously, Brock Potter, Harold Watkins, they're going to be really struggling here in this race. If this race goes green all the way to the end with how fast Ryan Bean is, obviously. and they just have to do well. The same goes for Blake Howell. We've seen the 26 car have a shining moments up at the front, but now he's kind of mired right there back in sixth, about a second and a half back. They're going to have a lot of work to do if they want to get to that number 28 machine.
99 trying to make a pass attempt on the 57, cut that one close. You know him and the number 4, Brock Potter, had a incident right there in that same exact part of the track. You just got to watch out to make sure you don't do that consecutively, or else you might stir a little bit of emotions around this track. But 26 Blake all over the 99 of Kevin Ruff this time through 1 and 2. We're going to get to the back stretch. Let's see if Howell can carry that momentum. Looks like he's going to lose just a touch of ground here. Going to stay single file through 3 and 4 this time as they get to the line for lap 61.
Yeah, and you see this number 26 machine of Blake Howell trying to look for a way around Kevin Ruff down the front straightaway. Ruff still able to hold that position, but this 26 machine definitely, I think, a little bit faster than this 99. Goes a little bit higher on the exit of the corner, not able to close that gap up. But they're still single files. They head back down into 3.
Shout out to one of our series sponsors here, Admin Box. Admin Box is built by iRacers for iRacers to be utilized in league and hosted races. The goal, to make race control as easy as possible for race admins, either racing or providing race control. Each admin box connects via USB and features pre-programmed commands, no key binding required for race control, driver function, and pit options. LED backlighting makes the buttons highly visible in any situation. Check out their pricing plans at adminbox.com. That is ADMINBOXX.com. And use that promo code RSR-BOXX to save you 10% off your entire purchase.
And you see this number 57 of Brian Fine right now, still trying to close that gap to Blake Howell, who's lost a little bit of ground to Kevin Ruff up in front of him. I think this 57 machine definitely is a little unstable. We saw him a little loose earlier on in this race, but right now he's trying his hardest to get around this number 26 machine, just not able to do it yet. And here comes one of those championship contenders, Brock Potter, fighting hard to get every single piece of track position here on lap 64.
Yeah, he sees how spaced out things are getting, so he needs to make some moves if he wants to be in contention later on in this 213SimWear 150 to contend for this championship here. Jumping back quickly to the Facebook side, I see Michelle Rittenberry once again saying, "Great job hanging in there, Kevin." And then Sheila continues to cheer on Blake, saying, "Go, Blake, go." So, again, appreciate you guys making some comments and cheering on your drivers. Feel free to shout out whatever you want, and I'll try my best to get you on the broadcast here. But Jason, this top 5 just really spaced out. We've seen a little bit of action here on the inside of the 57 Brian Fine, Brock Potter trying to make a pass here.
Yeah, and you can just see this Ford machine trying to still get all the track position that he can here, like I said before. And I mean, he's trying everything to get back up towards the front. We saw him nearly spin out into turn 3 just a handful of laps ago. Now he battles with that 57 Brian Fine off this corner. Just not enough to get around this 57 right now.
Yeah, he's trying it all over the bumper, but it looks like that second groove, the 24, was showing us earlier how well Michael Carter was running the second and third groove and able to maintain pace. So there's a little bit of groove, or a little bit of grip in the upper groove. So that's going to play a little bit to the 57's benefit here as this run progresses and these tires start to wear finally. 57 gets a little looser on turn 1 and 2. He's going to try to make the pass effort here as we kind of cycle through the field, looking at Raw 3 here in the 7. And did you see how spaced out these cars are through this second stage so far, Jason? Did iRacing, iFlag track map here, and you see the leaders off corner exit 2, and some guys are just going through the dog leg now. So almost a half a track separation between the leaders and the guys toward the tail end of the lead lap, which 18 cars do hold the lead lap at this time out of the 22 that have started. 2 have expired, so 20 cars active on the track at this time.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, you just see how spread out everybody is right now. I mean, this is the longest green flag run, Jeremy, that we've had here all night long. You see the 57 of Brian Fine wicked loose off the corner, and we're already seeing this race kind of start to get a little bit spread out. But you know what we're also starting to see too, Jeremy, is these tires are starting to wear. You look at Ryan Bean right now running second right now, 27.696. His fastest lap last time around, 28.376. So nearly a second of fall off so far from when they last pitted on lap 37.
Yeah, 100%. And Blake Howell makes the quick cut down to the bottom to pass the number 99 of Kevin Ruff. He falls to fourth. Blake Howell moves up into the podium position P3 right now, which he is 1.5 seconds back. Your race leader, Richie Coy. Ryan Bean only a half a second back, maintaining pace on that 19. But right now, Richie Coy is really looking like a Ross Chastain at this point.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. I mean, Richie Coy, but we've talked about this, Jeremy. This number 19 machine of Richie Coy is very good on the flat tracks. We've seen, obviously, in the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series this past season, how good he was at the flat tracks, whether it be a New Hampshire, a Phoenix, a Martinsville. It doesn't matter where you go. Richie Coy, if it's a place that has a little bit of banking, he thrives no matter where it is. I think that's kind of his knack, and I obviously don't really know if it's just the short track racer in real life in him or what, but Richie Coy is just very good on these types of tracks, knows how to handle them, knows how to get back to the throttle, apply a certain amount of brake pressure, and just knows how to save the tires. I wouldn't be surprised if Richie Coy goes on to win this race, which we've talked about how he's been right there in the mix, and he wants to cap off this season with the win, joining this season about halfway through, and he's been right there ever since. It would be a great way to cap off a good half season for Richie Coy here in RSR.
And we got a caution, our sixth one rather. My counter is completely wrong. Presented by Roasted Jim's Coffee. I heard Andrew Little at 68 come on the radio saying something, and there was a wreck happen right after that. We're going to take a look here at the Nerd TV replay and see what happens. And it looks like, Nolan Potter, 34, just really moves up the track right across Brian Fine. He loses his front clip there, so heavy impact from the 34. And the 7 of Raw 3 as well gets involved late in the wreck there.
And we saw that 57 machine getting a little bit loose there, Jeremy. I mentioned it a couple times, and just right here going into the corner, then 34 just... Listen, I'm going to say it, man, that's a bonehead move right there. I don't know why somebody like him would try to go into the corner that far deep, slide up the racetrack. You're not going to make it work. What's the point of racing back there like that for that position? You have such a long way to go. And then look at this, nowhere to go for the number 7 machine of Harold Rothery. But bonehead move on the 34 of Nolan Potter by a far margin.
Yeah, Nolan Potter went to school, went to FSU, Full Send University into turn number 1, and just collected the 57 with him. But man, here you go on the helmet camera, essentially, from Nolan Potter. Just drives it deep in there. Didn't see too much wheel movement, but the car might have been a little upset going in a little too heavy. So I might have had a little bit of loose, had to keep the wheel straight from, at least from that view, and just drove right up the track into the 57, and the rest is history on that. So 3 cars involved in our 6th caution this evening. We're going to kick it to another quick picture-in-picture commercial break. Be back shortly before the drop of the green flag. And back to full screen here as we got a new race leader here on this restart. The number 3, it looks like Bob Fitzpatrick will be taking this field to the green flag on this restart. 7th green flag to fly this evening. Ryan being the 28 on the inside, though I'd imagine he's going to make quick work once he gets down to the 1 and 2. The number 3 gets a good launch there, kind of checks up the bottom, but the 28 getting through that. It's basically a shortcut. Even though if you take the outside on the restart, the inside still has the advantage. Gets clear. Now they're 3 wide. The 26, now they make a little contact before they get to turn 1. They go 4 wide into turn 1 and 2 here. In the middle, you're going to find the 23-19, and we're going to have a caution for the 7th time this evening, somewhere in the deep part back of the field where we have this wreck here.
Yeah, we're about to find out right here what went on. Down into 1 and 2, the number 7. Oh, and if he just couldn't have his night get any worse, was involved in the last caution. Collects Matt Hayden in the number 5, and real simple, Jeremy. Just going around, getting loose, heading into the corner.
Yeah, no kidding. Just got into turn 1, and the car, for whatever reason, as soon as he got to the corner, it went right into a slide, and it is hard to save these cars. So he just kind of held the wheel straight, so to speak, and let it do its thing. Just gradually turns in, locks it up, barely touches the 94, which he continues to have bad luck. That's probably the 4th time, I think, this evening he's made some contact. And you'll see Matt Hayden, the 5, in some new colors. He gets involved as well.
Yeah, just a heartbreaking night for not only the 5, but also the 7 Hale Rodri. Oh, and if his night couldn't get any worse. Oh, my gosh.
Points here, right here.
Yeah, I think he's trying to show off for the freestyle portion like they do in Monster Jam right there. So I think that's what he's trying to do. I mean, they had a Monster Energy truck. Why not make a Monster Energy car here? So unfortunate for Harold Rothery there. Just overdriving a little too much. Just, not really knowing exactly when to get back to the throttle, when to play, the brake pressure. But, I'm sure he'll be all right. It's just unfortunate that it's been happening to him so frequently here in this race.
Yeah. So like the little play there that Ryan Bean did, shortcut in the field there to end stage 1. He's been up in the front and saving all the tires, so that's really not a concern at this point. They do have 3 sets of tires in pit road to use, but minus the couple of long runs, all these extra runs, Jason, have been about 5 laps, 4 laps, somewhere in that region on average. So you don't really need to utilize those set of tires. You can wait till the very end to maybe change them, but at the rate of cautions at this point, like, you might as well just stay out because the tire wear is so minimal.
Sure, I mean, you might as well just stay out, no doubt about it. I mean, there's no point to pit if you really just pit or only have a few laps, of green flag runs on your tires. There's just no point to do it. So, I mean, but obviously, the more restarts we have, you're going to have to pit at some point, but also you could save a lot of fuel. So, but obviously these guys are looking for a long green flag run. I know Ryan Bean doesn't care regardless as long as he's the leader, but everybody else though definitely hoping for a long green flag run.
Yeah, they're gonna. If you're not Ryan Bean, yeah, you're hoping for some runs, at least a couple laps on the restart. Maybe you get a really good restart, and then stack them up again like Ryan did. Remember, he went from 5th to 1st in 2 quick restarts, just by utilizing the bottom of the track and jumping the start where he could. It worked great for him, so why can't it work for somebody else? And so maybe like the number 4, Brock Potter, who's found himself here in P4, moving up. If he can get a great restart this time, he might have a great chance. And I want to do another shout out to one of our partners, the official hobby shop of the Nerditudes. That's going to be none other than Dusty Pete's hobby store with a whole lot more. Based out of New York, Dusty Pete's is your one-stop shop for many things nerdy. If collecting is the game, Dusty Pete's is the name. From figurines and action figures to collectible cards, such as Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and sports cards, to die-cast replicas, Dusty Pete's is the place. And they have a plethora of comics to choose from. So if you're a huge comic collector, then look no further. Head yourself over to dustypete's.com today, and whatever you do purchase, use that infamous code that we use, Super Nerd. It's going to give you 10% off your entire purchase from dustypete's.com.
Tell you what, I'm trying to feel like a super nerd by watching these guys get some green flag racing in, because I mean, we just keep having caution after caution. We saw that long green flag run at one point, Jeremy, but it just wasn't enough yet. Maybe this run we could finally see these guys, now that we're in the second half of the race, try to run it.
And here we go. We're going to see Ryan Bean elect the outside here we've noticed that the shortcut's been at the bottom, so I'm really kind of curious why Ryan has elected to choose the top here. Maybe just have a little bit of fun with the field. The green flag is out. Cavan's going to be able to maintain at least through the exit portion of turn 4. They all cut down to the bottom of the track. Go back, single file top 2. Looks like the number 26 is going to benefit. He's going to get underneath and past the 4 of Brock Potter. That's going to be for third. The number 4 tries to do a little shortcut. I think they made some contact. He had to check it up, and they go back single file once more.
Yes, file back down into 3 and 4. Now you see the 3 machine of that would be Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. trying to work to the bottom of this number 19. Also right in front of him, you see the 23, Harold Watkins, one of your championship 4 drivers, trying to work to that inside. They're going to get clear of that number 3, but you just see right now, Jeremy, that number 19 car very, very strong, even in this mid-pack.
Yeah, he really is. Expect him to pass quite a few cars here in the next 10 laps or so. He has been probably the fastest car up to this point. Just put himself in a little weird predicament, P6 at the moment. But Kevin Ruff is not letting go of that 28 Ryan Bean, trying everything he can to stay in second place. But right on back behind them, the 26, the 4, the 23, those are all other Chase drivers as well. And I see Dustin has given 99 special privileges on the pylon there, your top 5 in green. Disregard that 99. I apologize. That's the camera focus he reminded me in my ear, so that's my bad there. But it looks like the top 5 are all in contention. But that's just us focusing on Kevin as he cycles out. There we go. Rough turns white. So it looks like I'm having a rough night there, Jason.
Yeah, me too, for sure. But, as the old DW would say, I mean, if we could put our quote with his quote, everybody in green, obviously, besides, the focus cam is all running for this championship. But if we're focusing right now on a driver, that isn't in this championship 4 hunt, like DW would say, let him race! Let him race! That's what we should be doing right now. It would be cool, obviously, to see that 99 if Kevin Ruff compete for this title, because man, he has had a great run here tonight so far, already up 8 spots. We saw him battling earlier with that number 4 Brock Potter, held his ground. Brock came down, almost spun himself out going to the 3, but this 99 machine, another Ford, doing very, very strong up here at Phoenix tonight.
Yeah, doing an excellent job for sure, hanging on here. Didn't really show the speed in practice, but here we are during the race, and having a really strong run here in stage number 2. We're a little over halfway. It's 150 laps, and right now we're heading to lap 89, so we're getting closer and closer to the 50 laps to go mark here. That'll come up real shortly, being a mile track. Technically, it's not a short track, but it almost races like one in a way with how flat these corners are. And you see the entire field still cutting that dog leg there, still seems the preferred way, which when you're designing the track, Jason, do you think that they intended everyone to run above the yellow line?
Yeah, for sure, because remember, too, I mean, this track back before the reconfiguration, I mean, prior, I don't remember what the year was that they allowed. I want to say it was 2012 was the first year that dog leg was really opened. But also remember that, years later, after 2000, what was it, 2018, 2017, I think was the first year they ran. No, it wasn't 2017, but it was 2018. But I'm not going to get into my stat book in my head right now. But remember that front straightaway wasn't the initial front straightaway. What is the back straightaway now originally had that start-finish line. And then that dog leg used to be all grass. Coming off here, this was all grass. You were only able to utilize that top of the racetrack. You could not run that bottom like you can now. Even down here, it all used to be grass. Now it's used as really a place where you can gain some positions on restarts.
Yeah, that was the only part of the track that had grass too, and it didn't. It looked like a rundown road course corner that dog leg used to be. Very not symmetrical and just spotty where the rumble strips were, which I enjoyed it, but after seeing this version for quite some time, it made you wonder how that was even a part of a track there on an oval side. It looked like something from a road course. But yeah, it's so beneficial to run the car down there below the yellow line. And as you've seen, there's been quite a few cars early in this race that have spun out trying to run the upper half of that yellow line. So just kind of keep your head down, run down to the bottom of the track. That's where all the speed is, shortcut in the speedway. But as you see, this number 28 has not been able to separate himself from the guys right behind him, that 99 and 26, like he had to, or like he has been before. So we're starting to see a change in pace here as this track rubber's in.
Yeah, we're definitely starting to see a change in pace, and even with Blake Howell, he is now kind of starting to run up towards the front. As you see, I mean, Brock Potter, look at him. He's coming back all the way from basically the back of the pack, you know, earlier on, nearly spun going into turn number 3, and now he has made a great recovery up there in the top 4. The only guy who isn't in the top 5 in that championship hunt is Harold Watkins, who finds himself back in 6th. We'll see if Watkins has anything here possibly for this long green flag run that we might see.
Here's Richie trying the second groove here through 3 and 4, trying everything you can to get around this number 4 of Brock Potter, which not too many cars I have seen run the second groove and benefit from it. We saw the 24 do it. We've seen the 19 do it. I see a puff of smoke there for 1 and 2. I don't see anything that's caution worthy anyways, but now side by side it almost cleared. The 19 is on the 4 through 3 and 4. Imagine when they get to turn number 1, it's going to be cleared. This is going to move the 19 to 4th place.
Yeah, and this 19 machine has been so fast all night, like we've talked about. Him and Brock Potter, though, they're battling pretty hard going into turn number 1 there, and off turn number 2 now you see the 19 machine finally able to clear this number 4 machine, and I believe Richie Coy going to set his sights now on the 2nd and 3rd place driver as this number 99 Kevin Ruff starting to come back. A little bit of contact for the 2nd position.
Trying everything he can to get to that number 28, realizing that Ryan Bean is not able to fully get away from this pack, and there he is. Move Blake Howell to 2nd place here on the back straightaway, as they got just over a 1-second separation between them and the race leader. And when I mentioned that puff of smoke a couple laps ago that did not bring a caution out, that was actually the number 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick. He got loose cutting cross, I think, the nose of the 94 of Steve Potter, which, you know, that's crazy amount of times he's been involved in something. But we're going to take a look here on the Nerd TV replay. You see the contact from Tony Ludi is going to send the 3 run across the 94's nose, and the 3 hits the inside wall, but the car was over 45 degrees spun out after he got below the yellow line, which iRacing does not throw the caution because that is not deemed the racing surface.
Yeah, and we've seen that here already a couple other times here tonight, but, you know, unfortunate for the number 3 machine. All he's got to do now is just, you know, get back up on the horse, just keep on trying.
Yep, that's exactly what he has to do, because this race has strung itself out to our longest green flag run to this point. As soon as the 99 Ryan Bean, or the 28 rather, Ryan Bean crossed the line, put him at lap 100, so 51 laps to go in this 213 SimWear 150. So I think it's a great time. We're going to jump ourselves back to another picture-in-picture commercial break. Be back here shortly. And back to full screen here as we're continuing to look on right now, at least the 99 of Kevin Ruff through Dustin's drone camera here that he just happened to bring to Phoenix. Got the thing charged up and he is flying it around this 1 mile facility. And we see the 26, he's only about 5 car lengths still ahead of the 99. Richie Coy in the 19 in 4th place, slowly but surely moving his way through the field. But Jason, at this point, if he wants to get to that race lead where he was in the first half of this race, he's got to make up 3 seconds in a fixed setup race. And the way that Ryan Bean is consistently running equal lap times to himself every single lap, do you think the 19 without a caution can get back to this race lead?
Yes. I believe in Richie Coy. Vote Richie Coy for president. I'm just kidding, nah, but he's doing a great job right now. He just got around Kevin Ruff, who's been really fast. He's closing in on Blake Howell, and across the line, Ryan Bean, 28.489. Richie Coy, 28.583. Obviously getting around that 99 hindered him a little bit. But I think if we get that super long run here, Jeremy, I think this 19 can get there. I just don't know if it's going to be enough. But I believe we might have one more pit stop to go, possibly. Not sure what the fuel window is looking like. But I believe that this 28 machine looks to be really good right now. But that 19 machine is definitely fast as well.
Yeah, I think to go 80 plus laps on a fuel tank run is going to be impossible, but only time will tell there as they're on lap 111. So we have less than 40 laps to go in this event. As we're kind of winding these things down, I would imagine if they have to pit, they're going to be doing it here real shortly as you look at the pit stop strategy 10th link there, and about equal for everybody. A little bit shift on Ryan B, and that was him shortcutting stage 1 to stage 2, but everybody else on the same exact strategy, it looks like, at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, Ryan Bean might be on a different strategy, but I mean, the track position is really what matters. But I mean, if you look, obviously, I mean, they're all really on the same strategy now. Eventually, at one point they weren't, now they are. I mean, Ryan Bean's doing a great job. I just definitely would worry if that 19 does get to the second spot and Ryan Bean hits more and more traffic to see if this 19 does in fact catch him.
Yeah, 100%. Looking at the lap times, and Richie Coy had a clean track that last lap, and he lost 1/10 of a second to the 28. So 3.3 separates the 19 and the 28. So the 19 is going to have to really hope that Ryan Bean loses some tire wear, tire grip, somewhere on this back half of this run before pit stops, if they do come up, which as they continue to run more and more, Jason, I kind of actually doubt the fact that they're gonna have to come down pit road, because we got less than 40 laps to go, and this is a little over halfway, or right at the halfway point of this fuel run if they were to go green the rest of the way. So I don't know. It's gonna be tough, or it's gonna be close to see who's gonna be able to do the one-stop strategy, who's gonna be able to do no pit stops at all.
It's going to be interesting, obviously, to see. I mean, Ryan Bean, though, doing a great job. I mean, in just a few laps, it'll be 30 laps to go. I mean, he's been doing such a great job maintaining out there in the lead in that Mobile 1 machine. Obviously, shades a little bit to Jeremy Mayfield. Remember, Jeremy Mayfield back in the early days, or rather not the early days, but the early 2000s, used to run that number 12 machine, had the Mobile 1 Red Horse on the side of that car. And Ryan has been supporting that scheme for a majority of this season. And sure enough, I think that, that red-winged horse right there definitely making this car probably a little faster, obviously, compared to what we saw earlier with the number 54 machine, who had the Red Bull car. And you know how they say gives you wings. Well, he had wings when he went onto the outside wall, but this 28's got wings, and man, he is flying up at the front right now.
Yeah, he really is. And the 4 of Brock Potter is back on the attack, trying to pass the Oh, Richie Coy gets really out of shape in turn 3 and 4. A little bit of contact there, I do believe, from the 4 to the 19. Moved him up the track. The 19, the last corner by that, cut it pretty close. I wonder if that was just a reaction or just by accident.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to take a look here back at the replay, obviously, and it looks like coming to the corner, there might have been some contact. Let's see here, Dustin, if we can get it. Yep, there you go. He already knew what I wanted. We're going to take a look here at the replay. Coming down into 3. Yes, there was a little bit of contact, and I think it definitely hindered Richie Coy from turning down. Probably knew the 4 was there, and he just gets loose. But listen, I get it.
I really do. And I like the way that this number 4 machine of Brock Potter is driving, because he is holding, a grudge against everybody in the nicest way possible. He came down on Kevin Ruff earlier, wrecked himself practically almost. Now he's booting Richie Coy out of the way. You don't just boot Richie Coy out of the way, but he just did it. So it just goes to show that this number 4 machine, Brock Potter, means business. He's up third right now. We're going to see if this driver, who in my opinion, Jeremy, like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, consider this underdog, we're going to see if he can get to this front.
Yeah, it looked like he just tried to go down a little bit on the inside of the 19, of course, and then the car kind of straightened out when the contact happened, so he just made a little bit of a too late of a move trying to get into the bottom of him in turn 3 and made that contact. Definitely don't see any ill intent there. Last lap by Ryan Bean gained another 10th on the 26th car of Blake Howell. He had to deal with the number 48, some lap traffic from Robert Fitzpatrick Sr., so he had to pass him, but now this 26 has clean air. Him and the 28 both. So the next few laps will be a telling sign if Blake Howell has anything in store for Ryan Bean up to this point. At the line, as he gets really wide on corner exit, he's going to lose a 10th that lap. 2.5 seconds separates these guys, 30 laps remaining.
And you can only imagine, too, Jeremy, Blake Howell wants to try to catch Ryan Bean as quickly as possible, and he's doing a good job, but he's just getting so loose off these corners, driving his heart out right now. I just don't know if he can get there, but again, this time by at the line, 29 laps to go. We got a long ways away, but it's going to come in a hurry here to see who's going to win this championship.
Ryan Bean is praying to the sim gods. Do not give me a yellow flag at this point. This race, the way he is running, has this thing all but locked up, and you see minus Jerry Culver right here. He's got another long stretch of track where there's not a single car in sight. So this is excellent news for Ryan Bean to kind of just put himself in cruise control for the final 30 laps of the 213 SimWear 150. He does make quick work of the 13 of Jerry Culver, gets him past through turns 1 and 2. Now, and you see the iRacing iFlag track map there on the upper left-hand side of your screen. Almost the entire backstretch before he gets to the next car in line.
And I mean, it's been really difficult tonight, obviously, to pass here. We've seen these guys go single file for quite some time now, but I mean, with a little bit of time, you're going to see these guys get more and more spread out here. And I mean, obviously, Jeremy, one caution too could make this race go spiraling downward, and we'll be right back bunched up. And this championship is going to be open to any one of these 4 drivers.
Hey, we saw that in the real life there, but more so on the FTSR side on their Monday night series race that we covered at Phoenix. There was a clear-cut winner. Caution came out, flipped the script. So it is very doable. We have seen it multiple times here at Phoenix, and if there is a caution that would happen here tonight, you could definitely see the same thing, just because with these restarts, they're so crazy at Phoenix, you never know what to expect.
Yeah, you just don't know, especially late in this race. We already saw a plethora of cautions earlier on in this race, and just imagine if we had a late one and then set us up for these late race restarts. I mean, that would be absolutely insanity here at Phoenix Raceway. I mean, it's just been so chaotic on the restarts, and I mean, with an opportunity to come out here, win the last race of the season, win the championship, I mean, it's everything you ever wanted. And these guys are going to race hard for it, but we'll have to see what happens. 25 laps to go. Laps are ticking away for Blake Howell to try and catch Ryan Bean.
Harold Watkins really loose there through turn 1, try to get to the inside of Kevin Ruff and just could not hold on to it. Now the 68, Andrew Little's going to take a stab at the inside in turn 3. This is our 4th and final driver here for the championship 4, who resided in 6th place last lap, and he's still going to hold 6th place, it looked like, over the 68 going through the front straightaway that time. And so the 23 just not having the night he needed to contend, though he didn't expect to be in the championship 4 coming into this week. I don't know when the 45 Nate Camp. Oh, I don't know if that was contact, but Andrew Little super loose. Andrew came on the radio and said, "I got it." That means he saved it, and no harm, no foul there. We stay green.
Great recovery there for Andrew Little coming off turn number 2, which very well could have been a yellow, but thankfully wasn't. Kicking over here to the Nerd TV replay, just slides up, unfortunately comes right up into that Funko Pop machine of, I believe that was the number 23 of Harold Watkins. So great recovery And obviously the 23 machine probably not going to have any damage right there, but definitely a close call for that driver.
Yeah, I just gave him an old Funko pop off of turn 2 and sent him to the inside there. And great car control by Andrew Little to not spin it out. We've seen quite a few cars up to this point spin on turn 2. So, oh, Matt Hayden, hard to the wall. I saw him disconnect from the server. I wasn't sure exactly what happened, but man, oh man, Matt Hayden took a hard lick there on the inside of the track. His night is done here.
Trigger for Matt Hayden. I mean, he's had a rough go this year. I mean, he's been up there, he's competed, you know, just hasn't really had the season I think he probably wants to remember. But, you know, there's always next year, as they always say here. But as we come into 3 and 4, approaching 20 laps to go, you're looking at Brock Potter trying to close that gap on this 26 of Blake Howell. He could see him right in front of him, and these guys are running almost identical lap times to Ryan Bean. So it's not out of the question that they can't catch him. It's just going to be very hard to do so, though. 20 laps to go. Brock Potter got a little bit of a run. We'll see what he does with it here in the 1.
Man, this number 4 has been saving some tires. I didn't think he's going to have a chance for the top 3, but here he is battling for second place. Blake Howell's just got his car a little too tight on this long run. They're going to make some contact on corner exit 2. They're going to be side by side. I think the 4 of Brock's going to get this position going through turns 3 and 4. 26 going to try one last time to pinch him hard into the corner. They make more contact. They're actually going to keep side by side by the hard racing here from Blake as he's trying to put himself. This is position in the points, even though it's not for P1 trophy position, but this is still for second place. More contact is had through turn 1 this time. Blake trying everything he can to hold on.
Yeah, trying everything he can right now, but Brock Potter has been the aggressive driver all night long. He almost puts the bumper to this 26 machine. He kind of did right there into the corner. It just goes to show you, look at this 4 of Brock Potter, shades of Ryan Blaney. Remember, didn't really heat up in the 2023 Cup Series season till late in the playoffs. Got 2 wins from the round of 12 into the round of 8. And then obviously went on to win the title at Phoenix. Brock Potter showing no remorse. Oh, he hooks the 26 right into the wall almost. He boots him out of the way. Brock Potter says, I don't care, MF. I'm getting out of here, man. He is driving the wheels off that thing. And if I were Blake Howell, I would not be happy with that number 4 car.
I was almost thinking to myself, Jason, that Blake kind of set himself up for that. He got to the lap car, and it almost looked like he was confused as to where he wanted to put the car. And in the last second, he moved to the middle. But yeah, number 4 took a great advantage and said, you know what, you're going to be shifting your lane. I'm just going to do it for you here. Bonk right there in the right rear and sends him deep into the inside of the back straightaway. Thankfully, no wall contact was had. So the 4 putting that bumper into good use. Did not wreck the guy and gain the spots. Now he's got clean track.
It's a heartbreaking move right there by the 26 machine and the 4, but, you know, they keep it straight. That's all that matters. But definitely going to be probably some words said. I would have to only imagine after post-race if one of these guys doesn't get through to try to win this championship. But this time around, 15 laps to go. Ryan Bean, 29.160. Brock Potter, 28.797. I believe it probably was because Ryan Bean ran into the lap car of Harold Rothery, but we'll have to see. 15 to go. I just don't know if it's going to be enough time.
Keep your tempers in check. If you go back to the Roval, I forgot who won that race, but there was some exchange happened right after that before all the cars crossed the line to finish the race. It was when Howell won it. And Bean actually made some contact with him, and he got penalized for it because it was still an active race, so an intent wreck happened technically. So at least wait until everyone crossed the line and everything's officially done before you do it. But you know, that was a pretty aggressive move on Brock's part, so it would not surprise me if Blake had something in store for him after they get to the line for the checker flag.
Oh, I definitely would if that was me. I would not be pleased at all. I am that kind of guy, Jeremy. When I get into the sim racing cockpit, I am very, very careful with how I drive. I'm aggressive, but, you know, I give a lot of guys a little bit of leeway. But when somebody doesn't give me a bit of a break, even though I understand why you have to make moves like that, I would be a little bit pissed off if I were that 26 machine. So we'll see if he can get back to him. Brian Fine locks up the brakes going into turn number 3, lets the 4 car by, and Blake Howell now has to try to work around the 57.
Yeah, here we go. And we get into the final parts of this race. 12 laps to go for the 213 SimWear 150. And Ryan Bean currently holds a 3.5-second lead over Brock Potter. 1 second back further is Blake Howell. Richie Coy holds 4th place. And Kevin Ruff in the 99 is your top 5 at this point in this event. And a little 3-wide action here. Jerry Culver moves up in front of the 6 of Modesty. 8, Tony Ludi is now going to go under the inside of Culver here through 3 and 4. And now they're going to bring through some of the leaders. Oh, we got a spinner in front. That's going to be Bob Fitzpatrick. And oh my, Jason, here we go. 10 laps to go almost. And 8th caution is going to be the caution to remember for this race, because this is changing everything.
Oh boy, Jeremy, this race might go into double digits if I only had to imagine here. And you just see this number 3 machine just gets loose off the corner right in front of Richie Coy, right in front of the oncoming field, but everybody able to avoid that number 3 machine. Great job, but this is going to change everything. And here's the question, Jeremy. Do you pit?
We had this discussion. I said no, but they had so many laps on these tires. You have to. I think you just have to. And you're going to see it. Here we go. Everyone coming down pit road, at least on the lead lap, looking on the outside. Great cam work by Dustin to see who pits, who doesn't. And it looks like all the leaders come down. I think there's just too many laps on these set of tires to stay out, unless you're someone who's in 8th or 9th place, like Steve Pott or Justin Hendry, Andrew Little maybe. But it looks like everyone has come down.
Yeah, everybody is going to come down, obviously. Now the question is, who is going to win the race off pit road? This 4 of Brock Potter. He's the first one into his stall. We're going to see right now, this is the battle we're looking at. Brock Potter trying to get those tires on quicker. Ryan Bean only going to take 2 tires for the number 28 machine. 2-tire call. And it looks like Richie Coy, or rather Blake Howell, took, I believe, 2 tires as well. Brock Potter elects to take 4. So does Richie Coy. Kevin Ruff. Boy, oh boy, Jeremy, 2 tires versus 4. This is going to get good.
Your race leader has the fastest car and elects to take 2. He might have caught a whiff of the 26 of Howell maybe taking that 2-tire strategy. But, man, I don't know. I mean, I'm not seen the telemetry on the tire wear from the 28 or the 26, but I don't. You have 60 plus laps on those right sides and left sides to sit on half the tires fresh, half 60 laps old. That's a really tough call to make. But Brock Potter now realizes he's the first person with all 4 fresh virtual Goodyears. And so this is going to be quite entertaining for us in the booth, I do believe.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it here. This is going to come down to who gets the better restart, who can get this. I mean, listen, there's 2 things to note about that number 28 machine. 1, he's going to be the leader. He's going to be able to restart and fire out of the restart zone where he wants, when he wants to. That's going to help him. 2, how will 2 tires take on the 4 behind him? Blake Howell's going to be another guy, I believe, on 2 tires. Brock Potter, the first one on 4. If Brock gets a good restart and can get through turns 1 and 2 cleanly, clear that 26, I would say, Jeremy, that he might have probably the best shot on that last lap come around.
Yeah, the 28's going to get a great restart, no doubt about it. He's going to hold the inside, I would imagine. He's going to cut to the bottom. He's going to do what he's done all race long on these restarts and get himself a 2 or 3 car length advantage. But when you get full speed into turn 1, that's the question mark. Do those tires that are old on the left side, do they hold their grip? Or does the 28 and the 26 slide up deep into turn number 1 and open the door for Brock Potter and these other guys who are on 4 fresh tires? Turn 1 and turn 3 on this opening lap, when you have cold tires that are 60 laps old, do they grip on corner entry? That is my question here, and it's going to be fun to see. Pace Truck should be dipping down this time, which it does. They're going to go back to green flag racing, Jason, with 6 laps to go.
And this is going to be the longest 6 laps of Ryan Bean's life right here in the sim world, because he needs to take on not only 1, but 2 drivers behind him who have a shot at this 2023
RSR Next Gen Cup Series. Here we go. Coming to the restart. Will it be the last?
Time will tell here. Geico Stone, and here we go. Green flag is out. The 28 does not get the best start of it. Oh, door check.
Oh.
Master from the 26 to the 4. Tried cutting it down a little too early. The 4 is going to resume back to second place. I think that was expected from myself. But here we go. Teammates 1 and 2. This is going to get fun here. We're going to come to 5 laps to go at the line. A lot of shifting here, second, third, and fourth. We're going to go 3 wide to turn 3.
Oh, and you can just see this 26 Blake Howell. He wants that second spot. Kevin Ruff right on his back, threads the needle right in between Richie Coy and Blake Howell right there. He is going to have an opportunity to go for second and into the corner now. The 4, Brock Potter, sliding up the racetrack, trying to clear the 26. Will he get it? Yes, he does. Brock Potter holds the second position.
Guys, the cut over here deep into turn 3 does not get the position on the bottom of the track. It looks like momentarily these inside tires that are 60 laps old are holding up just fine for the 26 and 28. They crossed the line, 4 laps to go, almost 3 wide into turn number 1. Blake Howell back on the attack as Harold Watkins gets loose in turn number 1, hits the 68. They keep it going straight. We stay green side. Oh, heavy contact there from Kevin Ruff for the 99.
And they all keep it going, though, but Brock Potter and Blake Howell are still side by side. This is everything Ryan Bean needs to see. And if Ryan Bean wasn't in the equation, you would think this is the spot to try to win the championship, but it's not. Ryan Bean slowly getting away further and further. Contact made. They door check. The 26 goes around in front of the 19 and everybody else. It will bring out the yellow flag. You had to think, Jeremy, something had to give. They were battling hard a couple restarts ago, and here they are. One on the back end of it, one up in the front.
Excellent racing up to that point, man. That was so aggressive, but so clean at the same time. But that was kind of weird contact there. He made the contact by sliding up into the Brock's door panel, but then look at his wheel, just left, right, door checked him multiple times, just trying to maintain the car, and it finally just released there on the inside of the track. And I'm surprised, Jason, that they threw the caution, the simulation did, just because of how the 26 spun. He kind of looked like Bob Fitzpatrick earlier in the race where he spun below the yellow line, but they deemed it on the racing surface this time. As you see the door check multiple times, getting loose and then overcorrecting into the door panel multiple times. This is not intentional. This is him just trying to hold on to the car. Finally kicks it sideways, and I guess he got to that, a little more sideways before he got underneath the yellow.
Holy crap. Look at the 19, though, of Richie Coy, Jeremy. Just barely squeaks by that.
It was close. It was a matter of maybe 2 or 3 inches from the 19 to the 26, and there's the onboard, and just so close. But remember, he's battling the 99 just as hard as the 26 was to the 4.
Yeah, he was. I mean, look at him right here, mere inches. Bye-bye, Red Duck Comics machine. Oh, there may have been a little contact right there. Not too sure, but if there wasn't, it was just millimeters between those two bumpers right there from the front and the rear of the Howell and Coy machine. But hey, this is going to open up a restart. We are going to go into our first attempt at an overtime finish. Ryan Bean is going to be restarting there in that first spot. Brock Potter, first car on 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles, doesn't have to worry about his rival here, the 26 machine of Blake Howell. What does he do? Will he have an even better restart? Remember that initial restart from when we went back green last time around, Jeremy. That 4 had a great restart, but he just couldn't clear the 26. He had to race him hard to keep that spot and let the 28 get further and further out there. Now that he doesn't have to worry about him, do you think he probably has a great shot at this 28?
I think the 4 of Brock's got something for him. Stealth Motorsports, they practice so much with each other, and so they almost know exactly how they race around these tracks every single time they show up, right? So he probably knows how the 28's running the track a little bit, knows maybe where the advantages are, as probably discussed in team meetings, this and that, because how closely Stealth works together. So maybe Brock has something a little more in store. I know he had a really fast long run car, but this is the short run. But he also got the 2 fresh set of tires, which, by the way, the 26, I saw him come down pit road. He only changed the left sides that he did not change on the previous stop. So even though he did spin, he left the right sides on that car untouched. So he's going to be restarting this race mid-pack, it looks like, back there in about 10th place at the time of the line last lap. We should be getting the 1 to go this time. There we go. They're going to stack them up for our first attempt at a green-white checker. One of only 2 attempts that these guys get here in the RSR Next Gen Cup Series.
Yeah, this is going to be a hell of a lot of fun right here to see this. The guy who has dominated all year long has, I believe, about 10 wins up on the year so far. Brock Potter right there as well. These guys have been so strong all year long. It comes down to them. Oh, and don't forget, these guys battle Harold Watkins right there in 5th.
Yeah, he's been the slowest of the 4 championship drivers, and, one more weird situation. This 23 might be looking at championship gold himself. We'll find out here on the first of 2 official attempts of a green-white checkered. Can Brock do it? Can he restart with the 28? We're going to find out. They hit the Geico zone right now. 28 jumps it a little early this time, rightfully so. Gives himself a nice little 3-car length buffer down the front straightaway here, and they're going to go quickly single file. Richie Coy's going to maybe take a look to the inside. There's a car. There's Kevin Ruff, and the 99 self spins, or at least the only car to spin on the front straightaway underneath the yellow line. We stay green, and it looks like these leaders are going to be getting off into turn 3 and 4 unscathed, and the number 28 is going to see the white flag presented by absolutely nobody.
And Richie Coy gets a little bit loose off the corner. Brock Potter is going to be clear of him. This is the best opportunity Brock has had all race long. He's going to have 4 corners to do it. 2 are down. He closes up a little bit. He's going to try to have a good run down the backstretch. He's going to have to send it in here, Jeremy.
The 7 of Rothery wrecks on the front straightaway, but no problem. He backs out of it, and here we go for the final time. Brock tries everything, does not have it. The 23 and the 19 wreck hard there on the front straightaway as the number 28 of Ryan Bean with the 10th win of the 2023 B season and claims himself as champion for the RSR Next Gen Cup Series presented by Best One and Tire, and that is your Martin Sports winning moment.
Great job by Ryan Bean, the most deserving driver all season long to win this championship, does it. And I tell you what, Jeremy, had Richie Coy have not been battling Brock Potter that last lap and a half, I think Brock would have probably got there. I just don't know if it would have happened. But overall, just what a great championship battle. We saw it obviously all unfold. And you just see, obviously, the congratulatory bumps, shakes, nods, whatever it may be, to this 26 machine. And the 28, they're doing it now. And Ryan Bean going to burn it down for the last time in 2023 with that 28 machine.
Yeah, I was kind of looking back at this wreck here as the 28 is burning it down. And there was a pretty big wreck there at the line. We kind of kicked to it just a touch before the 28 took the checkered flag there. But awesome job there as he is burning it down as your race winner and championship winner. Not going to have a Ross Chastain spoiler for this event here. See the Brock second place. His teammate going to help celebrate with the team here on the front straightaway. And we're going to go over the unofficial results here for the final time this season. Number 28, Ryan Bean, your race winner and championship winner. Brock Potter second, Andrew Little third, Richie fourth, Justin Hendry fifth, Blake Howell sixth, seventh place Steve Potter, eighth place Bob Fitzpatrick, ninth Harold Watkins, and 10th place Jerry Culver.
Your field there, Kevin Ruff, after getting turned, I believe, by Blake, or not Blake Howell, rather, but I believe it was Harold Watkins down the front straightaway. He comes home 11th, Rob Fitzpatrick Sr. He comes home 12th, Ludi, Fine, Rothery, Modesty, Hayden, Carter, your top 18, and the rest of the field, you had Nolan Potter there, 19th, Hodge, Yuns, and Sheffield round out your top 22.
We're going to kick it over to full screen commercial break, gather up our top 3, and we'll be back shortly for the post-race Martin Sports Show. welcome back for the final Martin Sports post-race show for the 2023 season at the RSR Next Gen Cup Series. I do believe, Jason, you have gathered up our top 3 finishers this evening. First one, person we haven't talked to too much, the number 68 of the Waterford Concepts LLC Chevrolet Camaro, Andrew Little. Somehow you found yourself in P3, man. Congratulations on podium finish.
Oh, thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Waterford Concepts Camaro ran pretty good tonight, and uh, you know, some like to call it luck. I like to call it luck. But that P3 definitely was a surprise. I was trying to throw something down there because Harold and I we're running pretty hard there at the end of the race, and it was a lot of fun. And I sent it in hard, and he clearly sent it in a little bit harder, and it kind of worked out for me in the end. So it's pretty cool though to be up here on the podium for the final race of the year.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
kidding, man. Sorry, Jason. I wanted to comment about the middle of the race. You had a pretty active race there. You had a couple of saves. You got bumped once or twice. I think it was by the 4 or the 23. I couldn't remember. It almost sent you to the inside wall. You were able to save it. You had a couple wrecks that happened right in front of you. So just walk us through how you survived essentially here tonight.
Well, I used to do a lot of ice racing, and we actually used to run a rubber class, so rubber tires only. And I don't get the seat of the pants feel here, but like I've always been able to kind of quickly react to, for some reason, these cars, and you kind of have to go like a neutral input, both feet out to save the car and let it settle perfectly, and it that's the only thing you can do. Otherwise, you're either in the inside wall or you're overcorrecting in the outside wall.
and obviously, Andrew, congratulations on third place tonight, my friend. Good to see you up here in the booth. But I have to ask too. We saw a lot of guys going through the dog leg tonight, and it reminded me of this race me and Jeremy called earlier this year over for the Mach 1 Performance guys on Mondays. And a lot of guys were spinning out through the dog leg. And the same thing, it didn't come back to me until the first incident early on in this race. Going through that dog leg, was there a reason why most guys were spinning out going through there?
Are you talking about staying on the track or cutting it?
Cutting it, just really.
Okay.
Once you started to head into the dog leg, a lot of guys were.
Yeah, yeah. Essentially, what you got to do is like that wheel's pretty much got to be straight. And if there's any hard wheel in the car or any bounce, like it hits that bounce and it just unloads one of the tires, and you're going mostly to the inside wall. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but you also have to be real careful on brand new tires, even staying on the track. My teammate Steve Potter, he had an incident on track where he stayed up to try to keep it safe, and you know you even had to take it easy, dipping down to the yellow line there. So it's all about like keeping as straight a wheel in it as possible through that transition.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy to watch guys get loose above the yellow and below the yellow in between. Do you think it was the setup, or do you think it was the next gen car, or just the combination of the two?
Uh, I it just might be the next gen car. The thing
That's
is
fair.
really goofy on cold tires. Usually it's to me, my fastest laps are usually after a few laps, and the car feels more comfortable. Um, I almost think that what it is the car's got too much front grip compared to rear grip, and once you burn in the right front a little bit, it actually gets a little bit better. And then once that's burned in, you have to then start taking care of the right rear.
That's good insight there from someone driving this thing every single Tuesday night, man. But congrats once more on P3. Glad to see you up in there in the podium for the final race. But the floor is yours. Final thoughts before we let you go.
Oh, just thanks to the wife and family. I want to say hello to them back at home, and by back at home, I mean downstairs. And you guys want to check out waterfordconcepts.com. We do a lot of 3D printing, CAD design work. Now it's going to be 3D scanning, and we are the trophy provider too for the RSR series. So that's a little shout out to my nights and weekend side hustle.
Well, that's pretty cool, man. That's awesome to hear. So, congrats once more, man. P3, awesome job, and good luck. And we will see you for 2024.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And that was the number 68, Andrew Little. As I think I lost my teammate, at least his camera, Jason. I don't know, Jason, you still here?
I'm still here.
All right. At least we got your voice. That's all that matters, man. I'll run solo on the camera side, but we're gonna bring in second place, number 4, Brock Potter. Mr. Brock, do you have a copy?
I'm here.
Hey man, that tailgate beer Toyota Camry did it was very good on the long run. That long green flag run, you kind of fell back a little bit short run. I was like, I don't know if he's got the speed, and then you drove right back to second place. And what did you need on the short run to compete with your teammate Ryan Bean there?
Honestly, short run, I don't think anything was going to get him. I took 4 tires, hoping that would offset his 2, but once I started racing both Blake and Richie on the restarts, there's no catching Ryan. He's always been really good at qualifying, really good on the short runs, and I mean, you can ask my team. It's kind of funny. I'm the tire saver of the team, so I'm better on the long run.
And Brock, obviously, congratulations tonight on second, man. I know you probably wanted to get it done, obviously, here tonight, but just not enough, man. But we saw you were really aggressive here tonight, man. Putting the bumper to some guys, driving your heart out, man. You were just showing up here tonight, man. What more do you think you just could have needed to try to outrun Ryan? I mean, I know you said he was good, obviously, but was there anything probably before the race you could have done, maybe during the race, anything at all?
I don't think so. I even tried to adjust the brake bias a little bit, let me get in a little bit deeper. But even throughout practice this week, there's always Ryan. Ryan would get us on the short run and then just kind of maintain that second half, and I can catch him. So I wish I could have been up there, but I can't be mad losing to him. I mean, ever since we added him to our team, it's only made all of us faster, including me. I mean, this season, I don't know what I figured out. I've been running a lot of 7 a.m. A-fix with my kid getting up at 5 a.m. So it's given me time to run off 7 a.m., get a lot more laps in. I figured something out in this car to make me a little bit faster.
And there you go, man. And I think with your finish here tonight, moved you to second place, so just one position shy of the championship trophy. And just a great season overall for the number 4 team. And I would imagine your guys going to come back 2024 swinging even harder to try to beat your really fast teammate there, Ryan Bean. But congratulations for a great season overall. Floor is yours. Final thoughts before we let you go tonight.
Thank you, guys. I got to thank my teammates. I mean, they are the reason that I'm even remotely fast. We all get together every week and practice and make each other better. Got to thank my wife, Claire, my 1-year-old as of Thursday, Millie, for letting me do this. And got to thank you guys and Chef and Ludi for putting this on. They've done a great job taking over and making this league what it is. So thank you guys, and thank everybody else.
I appreciate that, man. Go on and celebrate the rest of the night, and we'll catch you next year.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, man. That was number 4, Brock Potter, the tailgate beer Toyota Camry. And now it's time to load up the victory lane scene for the 10th time in 2023 for the part 2 of the series. Ryan Bean, congratulations on the race win, but most importantly, the championship.
Oh, thank you very much. That was that was so stressful, but it's worth it. It's why we do it,
Man, I believe it. That car was set in sail, and we were talking about, I think, between 20 and 30 laps to go. We were like, if there's a caution, it's going to change everything. And then sure enough, 11 to go, it came out. So my question to you, why 2 tires with 10 laps to go, or less than 10, coming down pit road?
I was strictly thinking how I would do it if I was 3rd or 4th in the championship when that yellow came out. Like if I was, 3rd or 4th, I'm taking 2 every time. So I just took it just to defend, kind of. And I actually had 4 as soon as I got in my pit stall. I looked at my left side tire percentages, and I thought it was good enough to survive 5 laps, and I made the quick change right there to take 2. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes the sim just puts all 4 on whether you like it or not. It doesn't really like it when you uncheck it while you're in the box, but I got a little lucky, and I think that probably won me the race.
And Ryan, congratulations, obviously, man, on being the 2023 RSR Next Generation Cup Series champion. You also make it 10 wins here tonight. What a season for you guys over at Stealth Motorsports. But to touch back on Jeremy's, question in a sense, you took 2 tires, and we were really shocked that you did it. And I think what we all thought was, oh, he's taking 2 tires. The rest of the field's probably going to take 2 as well. But nah, they all took 4 minus the 26. I think he took 2 as well. But do you think that right there on those previous 2 restarts, you were just hoping and praying that those guys were going to race it out and you were going to be able to get away? Because I thought if the 4 wasn't going to battle the 19 there on that last restart, I think he probably would have got to you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I saw me and Blake were the only ones that took 2, and I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna need them to get racy here on these restarts. So I knew the restarts were gonna have to be perfect. I was gonna have to time them kind of off because I know Brock, he can catch on to your quips and stuff in the restart zone pretty well. But I also got lucky with Brock being on my outside on that last start, allowing Richie to get under him, and they were able to race. And once I saw that, I think I went purple there on that last little run, but I was just pushing and I had the mirrors off. I was watching the relative and they kept having the same number. So that means they were side by side. And it was free sailing at that point. I was so happy with the call.
Yeah, it turned out great for you there because if you would have taken 4 of the 26, would have had control, and then who knows at that point. So great heads-up awareness at the very, very last second to get that 4 tire changed into a 2 tire and to put yourself P1 on that restart. We talked to Brock just a moment ago. He gave you huge appraisal for making him much better throughout the year, and he wouldn't be where he is without you being on the team. So what do you do with your team at this point? How do you look into the offseason into 2024? How do you make this team even better than what it is in this year?
And before we get onto that, I got to say to Brock, he's gotten so much better this year. He's really put his head to it, and it's showing. The whole team really. They make me just as good as I make them, and I think that's the beauty of our team. But moving on to next year, we got to get other guys winning. I don't want to be the only one winning. I know it looks a certain type of way to some people, but it's just the nature of how the next gen car is. Clean air is so important. I strictly say today I won off of clean air alone. I was able to be aggressive on the early parts of the run and just save tire in front of everybody. And hopefully the oval package is a little better next season. It's a little more racy. There's a little more tire wear, hopefully. But I say we just keep doing what we're doing, and we're gonna be fine. Yeah, I'm excited now for next year, but I'm happy for the little break that we're about to get.
Yeah, 100% there. And get your teammates up to speed. I know Toyota's coming out with a new style of next-gen car next season, so you have to at least update the paint schemes for 2024. But outside of that, man, congratulations. Final time there for winning the race and the championship. Double-digit wins, back-to-back seasons for 2023 A and B. So that's just super impressive stats alone, and I wish you nothing but success through 2024, and which will be calling all the action every single Tuesday nights. And final thoughts, man. You already gave enough, but do you want anything else before we let you go?
Yeah, I got to thank you guys. You guys have been so fun to watch. It's a blast watching them back, especially as a team. We always talk about it because we're always up there battling, duking it out. So you guys are incredible. I'm happy that I'm not sure if you said it. I couldn't catch it. If you guys are here next year, I'm so happy about that because it'd be cool to have the whole season in perspective for once. We haven't had that in a while, so looking forward to that. Looking forward to whatever Sheffield and Ludi have in store for next season. They put up with a lot of crap this year, so we're all thankful for them. And lastly, the boys at Stealth. Oh man, what a hell of a year for us. We've had a lot of ups, a lot of downs as a team, but yeah, we got the gold at the end, and let's just keep it going.
That's right, man. We will be here for 2024, so that'd be cool to get all year next year. That'd be excellent, and looking forward to that too. So we'll let you go, man. Celebrate with the team. 1-2 there on the race. 1-2 in the championship. I think even 1-2-3 if I remember that. So congratulations once more, and we'll catch you next year.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
Yes, sir. Now is Ryan Bean, driver the number 28 Mobile 1. Camry and Jason, season over. We got one more race, I think, scheduled anyways, December 9th. But outside of that, the league racing portion, it's over. It's done with. What a race at Phoenix. 8 cautions, and the last one presented a lot of scenarios, but it still ended up being in favor of that 28 once more.
Yeah. It's been a pleasure, obviously, calling these guys here from when we first started with them at the second Atlanta week, and it's been a fun season to call. These guys put on a hell of a show week in and week out from every Tuesday night that we've called a broadcast. And the championship race was very exciting tonight. Obviously, Ryan, congratulations to you. Continuing that Ryan trend on Cup Series champions this year. Go 12! So I'm very happy for Ryan. Congratulations to him. Obviously, all the guys at Stealth. And I'm really excited to see, shut up, Dustin. I'm really looking forward to, obviously, next year what Anthony Ludi, all the guys do over here at RSR. This series has a lot of potential. It already is there, and with us being here too, it amplifies that. So I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad now that basically, Jeremy. I mean, look at this, man. We got this is our last league broadcast together for the year, man, and it's it brings a little bit of a tear to my eye. It's not there, but we can just imagine it's there. I had a blast calling with you guys all year long, man. We got one more broadcast in store for this year, obviously. That's going to be a fun one. Go check out our social media page, obviously, on Facebook especially. It's already there. The Ugly Sweater 250 signups are live. Jeremy, I'm looking forward to that, man, but I also had a real pleasure with you calling up here in the booth this season. Had a pleasure calling this. FTSR, everything we've been able to do. And, of course, thank you to the pain in the ass in our ear, but also our favorite, Dustin Logston, for producing this year as well, man. I had a blast with you guys.
Yeah, that man has so much more up his sleeve for 2024. You guys stay tuned and hopefully enjoy the product even more next year. And, yeah, Jason, I'm so glad we found you. You brought a lot of energy to us for the back half of 2023, and hopefully you stick around with us for all next year. That'd be super amazing to have you on the team. And Dustin locked in, and he said you're not going anywhere. So
I got that contract signed. I got that fake contract signed. I can sign it. Wait, I got my gum wrapper right here. I just gotta find a pen. I'll do it. I'll do it off air, but we'll get it. We'll get it sent to Dustin wherever he is in the cornfields.
Glad to see it. Glad to see it. But all right, that's our final time to shout out our partners. Without them, we're not doing this for you guys every single Tuesday. So, first and foremost, the league. Thank you for letting us do this for the back half of 2023. It's been a pleasure, and I think we're signed on for all of 2024, which is excellent news, and it looks like those guys at RSR are happy to hear that too. So RSR Next Gen Cup Series is the title series running race series underneath the Evolution Racing League banner. Stay up to date with everything they have to offer by going to their Facebook page at facebook.com/RSR League. Best One Tire and Service, the Tuesday Night Cup Series sponsor. If you're looking for a one-stop automotive repair and tire shop, visit bestonetire.com to find a location nearest you. Admin Box is built by iRacers for iRacers to be utilized in league and hosted races by admins and race control. Find them at adminbox.com. Visit Blake Howell Designs on Instagram if you're looking for a one-of-a-kind way to showcase your sponsors, and that's at Blake H Designs on Instagram. Martin Sports, top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable. See their whole apparel lineup at martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag, get your notifications fractions of a second faster without ever leaving your focus from the racing action. Visit them at iracingiflag.com. The Butt Kicker, the ultimate feel from the race car with the haptic response system from thebuttkicker.com. Check out everything they have to offer on their website for your sim rig today. Team Watson Racing Setups, quality professional built setups for your asphalt oval needs. Visit them at teamwatsonracing.com. Dusty Pete's Gifts and Collectibles, hobby shop with a whole lot more. Collecting is the game. Dusty Pete's is the name, and that's at dustypete's.com. And then lastly, Roasted Gems Coffee, premium coffee beans roasted just for you. Start your day the right way with coffee from Roasted Gems. For the final time, we're going to sign off here for the RSR Next Gen Cup Series. We will catch you in February when they go back to Daytona to start off their 2024 season. So you guys make sure to stay tuned on official start times. Make sure it's all the same, or if different, you'll be up to date either way. And we'll have those scheduled on our YouTube page. So if you haven't subscribed yet, do so now, and you'll be notified whenever we go live here in February. But until then, you guys stay safe. Get your nerd on.